Obsidian Waltz presents the final broadcast. Greg Matheson had been the trusted face of Channel 7 News for nearly a decade. His voice was smooth, authoritative, the kind of voice people believed, no matter what he said. His one true friend, his trusty teleprompter. But tonight, it betrayed him. It started subtly. The teleprompter flickered as he read through the evening headlines. A glitch, he thought. It wasn't unusual for the station's equipment to act up. Their budget had been slashed, and the higher-ups had cut corners wherever they could. That included the new teleprompter software, something the producer, Wes, had found dirt cheap on a dark web forum.
"Greg, just roll with it,"
Wes had grumbled in his earpiece.
"It's temporary, until at least we get the new software installed."
Greg didn't argue. The show had to go on. At first, everything seemed normal. "Good evening, I'm Greg Matheson. Tonight's top story." Then, the text changed mid-sentence. It read in all caps, "Greg, can you hear me?" He stopped. His chest tightened. He blinked at the words, his heart thudding in his ribcage. The teleprompter operator must have accidentally typed something in. Wes's voice crackled in his ear.
"Greg, what the hell was that?"
Greg swallowed, forcing a smile, and continued. But then it happened again. The next segment was about a local election, but instead of polling numbers, the words on the screen began shifting. "You're in danger, Greg." His blood ran cold. The text flickered, morphing into something even worse. "It's me, honey. Mom." Greg's breath hitched in his throat. His mother had been dead for 6 years. He stared at the words, the letters forming in real time. "He's coming for you." The studio fell silent. The crew must have noticed something was wrong, but Greg was frozen in place, unable to speak. He wanted to look away, to stop reading, but the teleprompter wouldn't let him. You see, the words just kept coming. "Get out of the studio, right now." His mother's voice filled his mind, exactly as he remembered it, but this wasn't possible. He turned to Wes in the control room, his face drained of color. But Wes wasn't looking at him. He was staring past him. Greg felt it before he heard it. A slow, deliberate creak. The sound of something heavy shifting behind him. Live on air, Greg turned around, and the cameras caught everything. A figure stood just outside the glow of the studio lights. A towering shadow, its head tilted at an unnatural angle. Greg couldn't move. Then the lights flickered. The teleprompter changed again. "Too late, sweetie. I'm so sorry." The cameras cut to static. Greg Matheson never finished that night's broadcast. When the feed returned seconds later, the news desk was empty. Greg was gone. The only thing left behind was the teleprompter, still rolling, now filled with names, hundreds, thousands of names. Some were people long dead, some were yet to die. At the bottom of the list, a final entry appeared. Greg Matheson, 8:04 p.m., the exact time he had disappeared. The teleprompter flickered one last time, and then the next name began to type itself.